so human of us to want to find connection and to be seen by somebody. And it's painted so much by the internet because of how much it's discussed. And it seems to emerge in its own kind of character, it seems. And I've definitely talked about this topic a lot of times on this channel. And of course, it only comes to the person that has the lingering thought of love and the yearning for it when that desire hasn't been fulfilled. In this video, I'm going to give you some of my own thoughts and reflections on love and dating. So going back to what I said about how the internet paints it with a character, you see there's a lot painted through social media. I've also seen in the media a lot where it says young generations aren't as outgoing or they're struggling to find people to meet. The narrative of dating has collapsed and no one seems to be connecting anymore and focusing on other life factors and things. And also there's a lot of the experiences of online dating, using dating apps. Me personally, I have a few thoughts on those as well, but I'll get to that in a second. So to me, it just seems like the internet paints it very, very cynical and very kind of hopeless, like painting it as the things are not going to get any better. That, and I'm not getting into too specific because there's a lot of reasoning to why they say this and carry this narrative and message around. I think we still need some time to really understand what's going on, particularly for people my age, younger, like 20-ish, young adultish people, Gen Z. Kind of makes it discouraging when someone looks at it and they're like wanting to date and they see all these people sharing their negative experiences, and because no one's getting what they want out of, I guess, the dating scene as the internet paints it. I think for a while too, myself, I think I've fallen into his beliefs that maybe dating itself is quite challenging for our generation and that people our age are struggling to connect. After some time, my own perspective and views on dating compared to how the internet paints it, I would say has quite changed a bit. And I think I'm starting to develop my own view of it, and I want to kind of share that for you. And these thoughts were produced because I've put myself out there and got involved with online dating and try to navigate through the dating scene in our generation's time. So for me, in my own experience, I can't help but notice the nuance and how I see this, because it seems like when you go into these different worlds of like real life and then online, the internet, there seems to be very different characters being played here. It's like both still have their problems, but one seems more bad than the other, because this one's always being written and painted over it. And then this one's more subjective to the own individual's experience. And I find myself noticing these differences when I've taken my attention away from the internet and not letting it consume my mind and letting the influences affect my thoughts and how I see things all the time, which I think everyone should just be aware with, every day, not just dating itself. But sometimes you don't realize how big of an impact something does to you until you've separated from the description that you've put with yourself with it. And it can be very liberating at the same time, but also quite revealing and insightful of noticing how this affects, with social media and internet being such a normal thing nowadays. It's kind of hard to let that be identified, because that's all we're kind of always on, or if always seem to be on the internet, and letting it paint our own view of the world and seeing how things really are, which in a way that seems kind of rigid if you kind of let it take a full control and don't let the nuances emerge by itself, by applying some awareness around the data that you might be taking in and reflecting on your own experiences in real life situations, being aware of your own thinking pattern and how that's formed. You can't help but notice this game that's being played, that's revolving around everybody, that sometimes we're just so immersed in it that we don't seem to be aware of it. And maybe sometimes some of us see it and we don't know how to really kind of beat and work around it, because in order to get what you want out of this, you need to play the game. With my own experience, I particularly saw this in like dating apps. And if you try dating apps, you kind of know what I'm talking about. This kind of game that you have to play to make yourself more desirable and trying to, go along with like the script and stuff. But I'm aware that I'm painting dating apps as not a great option. It definitely is. It definitely can be. I met some cool people on there, but I never really found any success on there. So, like I mentioned, it's the game that you have to play on there. That if you want to get something out of it, you have to go along with it. So that's just my honest opinion about it. So proceed with caution with dating apps. That's my advice. But in going back to how the internet paints dating for everybody, it also seems like people also lack the understanding of within themselves, like who they are, and eventually every individual kind of go through this. It's kind of cliche to say that, you need to find yourself before you go into dating and stuff. That should be very, I think, common advice if you explored dating advice and you've looked on, the whole the sphere of love and relationships. But I think it's still very fundamental and very crucial that someone can go through that experience and find time for themselves and reflect and think, what do I really want out of a relationship? What do I really need? Like, who am I? Like, what kind of people do I like? It goes a bit deeper into that. I have a couple of videos talking about that in my channel. You want to check them out. It's planes, man. Don't stop flying by. Now that I've shared you my own reflections on dating and how I view it and yearning for love, now I'm going to tell you my own approach to dating and what I would suggest somebody to do if they're not really sure because of how, like I mentioned before, how the internet paints it, and and other, maybe if you had your own experiences and you were trying to figure out yourself what to do here. So I can acknowledge my own yearning for love, and I can tell myself to be patient and to let time do its thing. But also what's important is that I'm practical with how I approach this, and am I doing the right steps to kind of lead me into those opportunities. You can do dating apps or you can do online dating, but for my suggestion, I don't think you should do those. I think meet people in real life and just meet new people in general. Like, don't even go with intention of dating. Expose yourself to new people and new minds, new personalities that could possibly show you what you might actually want, or maybe things that you didn't know you didn't like. And again, with how cliche it sounds, it's still very fundamental that you just know yourself. Even with navigating with dating apps and in real life people playing the game, if you have those fundamentals and you can allow yourself to evolve within yourself and grow as an individual, identifying the meaning in your life, what's taking you on this course of life, and what you truly want for yourself at the end as an individual. I feel like I have so much more to say, but there's only so much I can put in one video. I think I'll make this into another part possibly, because there's so much more I can explore with this topic, and it's something I reflect a lot on myself. So and I don't know if my approach is the way that I'm gonna, I guess, get to what I want, but I'm still exploring it for myself. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you all for watching. Comment down if anything that you had on this topic, or let me know if anything I said made sense, because it's something I want to explore topics more deeply, and maybe more just kind of explore them more, and maybe ways that I haven't tried and are new to me. Yeah, it's because I do find these topics, exploring them more, just has my interest right now. So like I said, that's all I got for y'all today. Thank you all for watching. I'll see y'all later. I like what I'm saying. Whoa, there's a big, oh my gosh. Whoa, what's this, like a big wasp next to me? You saw that, dude? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.